today we are going to be talking all about how to respond to negativity online and in real life. I think this is important because as entrepreneurs, we're like public figures, okay? So we have to be showing up online. We have to be, posting and promoting ourselves. And so because we have this like public face and public persona, what that means is that obviously we are out there to be scrutinized, and we just have way more of an opportunity for people to form opinions about us, right? Like a lot of everyday people, they're kind of just chilling, doing everyday things. Like of course, they're not going to get maybe as much feedback. People aren't really going to care about what they're doing, but we're very public. So it's bound to happen that we are going to get some negativity, whether it's from, a video that's really popular that we post that brings in and attracts people who normally wouldn't be seeing our content and they have opinions. This could be from clients who were unhappy with their hair and so posted a negative review, all of that stuff. This could be family members who don't understand why you have your own business and keep encouraging you to go and do something else. So I kind of have like a 3-step framework for dealing with negativity in our lives. And I feel like this framework, of course, can be applied to our business, but also I think this works really well in like across our relationships because, let's be real. Being a human being is all about getting feedback, for better or worse, from everyone around us, right? Like just existing is being a part of a feedback loop. So how can we be gracious and really show our integrity, show up within our integrity and our values in situations that are testing us, that are making us uncomfortable, or that we just flat out don't agree with and get pissed about? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about it. By the way, this topic came from a viewer suggestion. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, it is at Ren Lopa Official. And throughout the week, I do a couple different things. So Tuesdays, I tend to have people submit topics and then I answer them in my stories. So this is one of the topics that I answered and in my stories, and I got so many comments. I got so many like DMs, messages, like people were really into this. That's why I decided to turn it into a full training. And then also over on my Instagram stories on Thursdays, I tend to do a this or that with the latest fashion and beauty trends. It is super fun because, as you guys know, trends move really quickly. Like I've been doing it for about 7 or 8 weeks now, and I always have so many trends that I can talk about that are new every single week. So if you like that kind of thing, if you're just curious and want to know yourself what's trending, like come and follow me, come hang out. So that's on Thursdays. And then the rest of the week, you'll get like inspiration, insights, all of that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of fun. So this came from one of you guys, and I was talking more in depth. Her name's Alyssa. And with Alyssa, what brought this to the forefront of her mind is that she had a reel that blew up. It got over 1 million views. And it was about essentially coming to your hair appointment with clean hair. And so these random strangers online were coming in and kind of arguing with her, questioning her, making it seem like she wasn't giving good advice or whatever. So that's where this is coming from. But this 3-step framework, like I said before, it can work for negative reviews. It can work for in-person confrontation and things like that. So let's go ahead and get in. So what do we do when we get a negative review? We see a negative comment on our page. We hear something that we don't like. Okay, what do we do? So number 1, we are going to try our best to set our ego aside. Okay, so we are going to take a breath and we are going to ask ourselves if there is any truth to it. Okay, so Listen, this could be a random stranger on the internet with a cartoon character as a profile picture. You all know the type. And they could be saying something to us, but it could be your like enemy, but like we still, because we're business owners, and I just believe like as a thoughtful, self-aware human being, this is good practice, but we need to stop and ask ourselves, hey, is there any truth in this? Okay, so we need to be self-reflective. We need to put our ego aside. Our ego is going to want to do what? Like fight or flight, right? Or freeze or fawn or whatever it is. So we're going to have like a physical reaction that we can't always have like full control over right away. But we need to do our best to pause and to really be self-aware. Is this true? Right? Is there something, even a kernel of truth in what they're saying that I can grow from and implement? I've gotten comments on these live trainings. I've gotten comments on the podcast and everything. And while some of them I feel like are a little extreme, they help me understand what is distracting to people so that, you know, while it may feel like a negative comment and a dig, now I know if I'm wiggling all over the place, that's distracting to some people. If I'm laughing a lot, that's distracting to some people. So I use bits of the feedback or negative commentary to hopefully become a better educator long term. So pause and just see, what can I learn from this? Is there any truth? Okay. So if there is some truth, I would obviously like make a mental note. This is good to know. We should, you know, save this for later. Think about how we can evolve this with whatever we just did, right? If there's nothing you can take from it, no worries. We'll just move on to the next step, okay? So number 2, this is where we start to get a little bit more into the critical thinking, right? So we started out self-aware. We started out humble and we're like, okay, what can I learn from this? What does this comment, you know, have for me to grow? Number 2, now we are going to be critical thinking. We are going to actually consider the source, okay? We are going to consider the source. Is it someone whose opinion is important? Are they a client, a mentor, a close friend? Is it someone you trust? This is going to help us kind of prioritize it, right? It's really going to help us understand how serious this is. Is this a level 10 problem or interaction with someone, or is it like a 2, right? If it's a stranger and they're just literally writing something rude about like your freckles on your page, I mean, that's a nothing, right? That's like literally nothing, has no importance, no priority. Like there's nothing you should take away from that at all. If though, it's a longtime client who's giving you feedback on the experience they had in your salon, more important, right? If it is a potential client giving you feedback on the booking process or something like that, kind of good to know. We would want to take this feedback and really roll with it. But if it's not someone you trust, don't worry about it. And I have always had, like, I don't remember where I heard this for the first time, but I have always practiced this, and it's hard because our ego just wants to be kind of like defensive and, you know, lashing out or building walls to protect ourselves or whatever. Like we have a lot of subconscious reactions that happen. But if we can prioritize and understand the weight of what people are doing, it's so much better. So the quote that I heard that I really do my best to live by is, only take advice from people who have what you want, right? So many people who are not entrepreneurs, who are not brave enough to, you know, risk everything for their dream, who are not brave enough to put themselves out there on a regular basis, they tend to have the most opinions about things. And so, you know, of course, like I said, we're going to be humble. We're going to see if there's any validity to what they say. But it's like, if they don't have a business and they're not willing to risk it all and they are always playing it safe, I'm not really going to take a lot of their feedback, just like I wouldn't take their advice, right? It's like the single person who gives you marriage advice, like, chill, okay, right? Like, chill. So we want to consider the source. We want to make sure we're only taking advice from people who have what we want and what we aspire to. And so in this process, we are literally determining, like, the purpose of prioritizing it is, number one, we don't want to take things personally or let things hurt us, especially if they're not people who are important to us, right? Like, we need to get good at letting that get off of us, dust our shoulders off, and get back up, be resilient. But if it is someone more important, obviously it's something we're going to take more seriously. So we have to go through this process of, like, vetting the person giving the feedback so that we actually know how to respond or if to respond. Okay, so if we don't prioritize things, if we don't take a minute and slow down, we could be wasting our time, our energy, our, like, emotional fortitude on every little annoying, like, gnat swimming around our world giving us all of their feedback, right? Not everyone deserves a response. Not everyone deserves our time and attention. And so that's why it's so important to go through this process of, like, is this someone important to me? Okay, so that is number 2. So number 3 is all about now how we're going to respond and how we're going to, like, choose to carry it and move forward. So if in step 1, you're like, yes, there is some validness here. In step 2, you're like, you know, it is a long-time client, so I do really care about what she has to say because I would like more clients like her. Like, her opinion is important to me. Then number 3, we would know that we want to validate, we want to respond, and we want to do our best. Now, if these are public comments and you do want to reply, it's someone that you do care about, you've deemed it that way, then we also want to have public responses. Now, even with negative reviews, so if people are leaving you reviews, like, on a review site, and they're negative, and even if you deem these people as, like, you're not my dream client, everyone will just see that your comment was really crazy, I'm not gonna dig into this, I would say we always do want to leave a public response. Okay, so this is going to be for those online reviews. If someone comments on your video and they're valuable, if they're the cartoon character person and you have no idea who they are and their profile is private and they don't even follow you, just ignore it, right? You could even hide the comment, you could delete the comment, like, however far you want to go, but, like, that wouldn't deem a response for sure. So my student inside Luxury Client Method, whose reel got over 1 million views, a lot of those comments I would say are like a no response. Okay, it's like, whatever, you guys can argue with a hairstylist about how you should come to your color appointment with dirty hair, that's on you. But if it is someone that is important, or they are bringing up something important that you want to make clear where you stand on it, I would do this publicly. So this is an opportunity for you to show future people who see this review, who see these comments, how you handle things. So a lot of times the reason why clients leave and don't say anything, like, and I'm mostly talking about, like, our great clients we love so much, they've been with us forever, and then suddenly we're like, hey, I haven't seen, Sharon in, like, 12 weeks. Like, what's up with that? I need to check in on her. The reason why a lot of clients ghost is because they're nervous about having a difficult conversation, right? So when we have these opportunities to show how we handle things, I think we should always take them, and we should always be graceful. So when we're a little kid on a schoolyard and someone's being negative to us, we're going to maybe retaliate in the same way. We're going to be, you know, it's like to like, right? But we're business owners, so we have a different level of responsibility where let's just be gracious. It's not personal, it's our business. And the more we can kind of separate that, it's like, yes, absolutely, like call your best friend and cry about it if it hurts your feelings. Like talk to your husband, give yourself time to be a human being and feel things. I would never, you know, it's not about not being a human, but the way we're going to react, publicly respond, and show up for that problem is going to be as a CEO, right? We're not just going to be jumping in this state of reaction constantly. I'm sure many of you, like, I feel like in your 20s, everything is like a reaction. And then you slowly start building more space in between something happening and your response. And that is where you're building all of that wisdom. So like we have to give things a second for wisdom to respond. So tip number 3 is that, and this is going to sound crazy and you might not want to do it, but tip number 3 is we want to actually wait 24 hours. So I would say sleep on it. Okay, sleep on it. The last thing we want to do is react from an emotional place. So it's for us, right? If we can sleep on it, we are going to be wiser tomorrow. But also the person on the other side of the screen or text or Google review or post, they are going to have slept on it. One of the biggest mistakes I see when people are responding to these things is that they're reacting emotionally in the moment. And then what? Then the other person's emotional. And so now we have this like back and forth, tit for tat, just garbage. Honestly, it is such a waste of time. And it really makes you look bad. Okay. So like, again, in your personal life, if you want to do things like that with your friends or whatever, like that is so like that's on you. But in our business as CEOs, we are not going to get into these tit for tat things. We are going to let things go. So for example, a way that you could respond is going to be like if it's a comment on your reel, you've already deemed there's something valid there and the person you do care about, you're going to publicly respond and say something like, thank you so much for your comment. I sent you a DM so that we can talk about this more. Okay? I sent you a DM so, you know, to get more details from you, like, thank you for bringing this to my attention, blah, blah, blah. So you're telling them where you're going to take it, which is going to be, you know, out of the public eye. And then you're also showing people who see that, oh, she takes this head on. She's not going to be a bitch if something doesn't work for me, or if she didn't live up to my expectation. Like, she isn't going to be a bitch to me about it. She's going to handle it in like a mature way. And like, y'all, we are CEOs. Like, we should be able to handle things in a mature way. And a lot of these issues that come up in our business, while they feel personal, they really aren't personal, right? They're about a piece of advice we gave. They're about a placement that we did. They're about an experience that we gave. It's never about who we are as people. And so building in that space lets wisdom come in, and it lets us not react emotionally and in this personal way. So you can also, like I said, you can also hide comments if you want to do that. Obviously, you can block people if they're not important, there's no validity, and you know, it's like, just get off of here. You don't even like matter. Why are you on my stuff? But for the most part, I think it's fine like to keep them there. So as we're thinking about dealing with these negative situations, I also want you to think about in real life. Okay, so let's say somebody at the end of their appointment, or they give you a call later or whatever, but they let you know, ooh, this didn't come out like how I wanted. Now, what do we usually see a lot of stylists do? Like when they post the screenshots of the back and forth in the group, they do the tit for tat thing. They do the, well, Kathy, you said this is what you wanted. I did what you wanted. And then Kathy is like, well, I said this, but blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're starting this. So again, we want to handle it the same way. We get that message and it's like, thank you for letting me know. When can you come in so I can take a look at it? And like, that is all that needs to be said over a message, whether they're requesting a redo, whether they are, you know, just saying whatever. It's like, when can you come in so I can take a look? Like, thank you for letting me know. I obviously want you to be happy with your hair. And that's all that needs to be said. I will also say, on top of this, like sending blocks of text, don't do it. Don't do it, you guys. Millennials have done all of that and we have learned the hard lessons. So like, listen to us. Like, that is not how we solve problems. You're gonna send a voice memo if you really have like something to say that you need to say, or we're gonna do what I recommended, which is like, thank you so much for letting me know. I definitely want you to be happy. When can you come in? Because how we are face to face is always going to be different than how people are behind a keyboard, right? Also, getting them to come in so you can look at it avoids a lot of problems. It just avoids a lot of problems. You can actually see what's happening. It might be like, people are so dramatic. They probably just need a toner, but they're making it sound like you messed everything up so bad and they're so upset. Obviously, you're going to be this upset if it's over a text message and they're telling that to you, and you're going to be like this upset if they come in and you're like, oh, cool, yes, absolutely, let's go ahead and just do a toner and take care of it. Like, that is so simple. So give yourself and your client an opportunity to have healthy conflict resolution, okay? Okay, I know this isn't like the most fun topic, the most exciting thing, but all businesses go through it. Like, I remember when I had my first like real troll comment, I showed my business coach and she like celebrated. She's like, okay, this means that like you're out there, like you're reaching people who you haven't reached before. Like, it's basically like an initiation into being a business owner. Like, your first bad review, just an initiation into being a business owner. We can't expect that we're going to have 100% good reviews, 100% positivity all the time. Like, we're in the public forum. Like, not even people who sell ice cream make everybody happy. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, okay, so let's do just a quick recap of that. So we have 3-step framework for how to deal with and respond to a negative comment, negativity, or a negative review. Okay, so number 1, we're going to take a breath. We are going to leave space for self-awareness, okay? We want to be mad. We want to deflect and defend and say, no, no, no. But is there any truth to that? Is there anything we can learn or do better next time that we see in that comment, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, so we've been self-reflective. Now we are going to be a little critical. We're going to kind of like rank and prioritize, who is this person talking to me? Is this a mentor who I really care about their opinion, who has a lot of experience and knows what they're talking about? Is this a literal troll with like a private profile and a cartoon photo as, you know, their profile pic? Like, what is the scale here? Because depending on that, we will know how much energy to invest in responding. And then lastly, tip number 3 is we are waiting 24 hours. So we are giving ourselves time to calm down. We are giving the other party time to calm down. Even when I was researching today, people were like, oh, always respond to a negative comment like as fast as possible, like within an hour. And it's just like, it's okay, I guess, to like validate people and like try to resolve it quickly, but it's like, I'm a big believer of sleep on it. They are going to feel more relaxed by tomorrow. You're going to be able to handle it better, like sleep on it. And then we would respond publicly when it deserves it. And we want to leave these public comments as breadcrumbs to show future clients or existing clients how we handle tough situations. So we would just say, thank you so much for your comment, or thank you so much for letting me know. that's definitely important to me. I sent you a DM for more info, right? Then you're moving into the DMs. You're going to try to get them in so that you can talk in person, or you're going to send voice memos so that nobody can take screenshots of what you say out of context and make you look like a horrible person, which can happen, right? When we're in these back and forths, we are not going to get sucked into any tit for tat. If you feel yourself wanting to say, but you said blah, 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 it is already going in the wrong direction, okay? We want to just encourage them to come in. I can't do anything until you come in, right? I can't give you a refund until you come in. Come on, like, let me just check it out. It's no big deal. It's all okay, whatever. And get them in the door. We're not going to do the back and forth. We are CEOs, okay? We don't have time for that. So I hope that this has helped you guys understand how to better respond to the challenging, parts of running a business. Customer service and the customer experience is always going to be important. And while I don't believe that the customer is always right, like, I really don't, I do believe that the only thing we can control at all in this life at any time is us. The only thing we control is us, our reactions, our energy, our tone. And so why not use the tools we have, use what we can control, which is ourselves, to make each and every interaction with people as good as it possibly can be. So, how do you guys handle negative situations? What are ways that have worked for you? What are ways that haven't worked for you? Like, come and jump into my DMs, let me know, and let's talk about it. Like, would you really wait 24 hours? Would you be able to do it? Or would you feel like itching to respond and like get in there? Jump in my DMs and let's talk about it. So I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you very soon.